address this, now there's tech, right? And I'm sure any person who is listening to this and is a tech or a developer, they would ask, okay, I might not be able to hold placards and go out there in the street. And one of the ways that actually I run a couple of communities, we have tried to address different issues besides, well, we don't address FGM and maybe that's not something I'm so familiar with, but we address corruption and poverty.
Yes, yeah.
And I know from that, actually, you can really grow like a generation to avoid most of these things.
Absolutely.
So one of the ways that we do this is train people in technology.
Yes.
And then build solution or get a job that actually you can support yourself and avoid all this temptation. Because one of the things that I've realized is people actually in Africa, they don't want to be corrupt. But the system, the way it's configured, the environment you're put in, you have no choice. For instance, you have a job that you have a job offer that you got in company X and you need a passport.
Yep.
And you have a month. And it's between you and this job. Someone tells you, you know what? You need $500.
Yep.
You're going to do everything.
Absolutely.
Even wrong things. So if you're not in that position, it's really hard to do this. Leyla, having gone and investigated about all this, and I'm not sure when you say you are FGM survivor, if you went through the card or you escaped, I don't know which is which, but you're going to tell us. How do you think tech can address this?
So when people ask me to introduce myself, I always say I'm a disruptor of systems. Because the reason FGM even happened to me is because there's a system that allows it to happen.
Ah, I see.
So it's not, for me, FGM, child marriage, domestic violence, these are just buzzwords we are told to focus on.
Yes.
To keep us away from the actual problem.
Yes.
The actual problem is there's a system why this actually happens. So I don't want to, for me, it's not dealing with FGM or domestic violence, child marriage. No. I want to look at why these things continue to happen.
Yes.
Because, again, and I one of the things I've learned over the years, I've worked really closely with policymakers and lawmakers. You know, they're the ones who are setting these rules and regulations.
Yes.
So for me, what we need to look at is, so maybe where tech can really play a big role.
Yes.
Is actually get a sense of what, I would love to see how I can go on one, I can just put, I don't know, get an app where I can just put my gender and which country I'm from, and it can just give me all the laws that are against me. Like, just show me what that would look like.
Yeah.
That's the system.
And we can address those
because a lot of us don't have access to this.
Yes.
We don't have access.
People even don't know a constitution.
No, I meet people who have been doing this work for 30 years, but they never thought about looking at the constitution up. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm one of the leadership team on a big consortium who's trying to end FGM here in Africa, right? So we had a big team meeting, and I was talking to a couple of the countries. So we're working in Somalia, Somaliland, Senegal, and Ethiopia. So I was speaking to the Somaliland team. And I really wanted to dig deep, deep dive.
Yes.
I wanted to deep dive into what they really meant by things need to change.
Yes.
They were so focused on getting an FGM bill, and I've never been for an FGM act. For me, it's like we should, if we have an act that says don't harm children, I don't need an FGM bill.
Yes.
Why are we creating? Do you see how these systems are built? Even building new acts, there's money connected to it.
I wanted to ask something about this.
Do you see how the system works?
Because there's someone actually, I don't know.
Why am I trying to create a new bill? If we have a constitution that says don't physically and emotionally and socially harm a child, FGM, all these things fall under that. Why do we need to have... Anyway, so they were focused on getting this act. And I said, can you give me a little background on how Somaliland addresses women's issues? Guess what they tell me? There's no bill in protecting women from rape.
Yes.
There's no bill against discrimination. Literally basic things.
Yes.
And the one that really shocked me was Somaliland women cannot marry a man outside of their community. It's actually illegal.
I think I know about that.
But men can.
Oh, yes.
Hey.
That's a trick.
So I was like, okay, FGM is
So
just
you're
a
not
buzzword.
allowed to love someone, but the other gender is
woman-
allowed to be open about it.
Exactly. Women are only supposed to, but you see how controlling the system is built. The women have to be under our control. So I said to them, the problem is not FGM, guys. The problem is there's a system in place that has no respect for women. That has to be addressed first.
Yes, yes.
Because if you address that first, then no lawmaker is going to say to you, oh no, cutting women is bad.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because the reason they don't take it seriously, they're actually telling you can't even be in love.
Yes.
You live in a society where you have to be very careful who you fall in love with.
Because you're not allowed to fall in love with everyone.
Because the system is being built that way. So that must be addressed. So for me, it's going back to the root of the problem. And I guess the tech world, I mean, this is just for my, like I said,
Yes.
I would love to have an app, whatever country I go to.
So you're saying
female,
you need transparency on this?
I want to know. I want to know how that country protects me.
Yes.
If something happens to me, are there laws that can protect me? I don't know what that looks like.
Guys, you have had it. You have had it.
A
I know you
request-
guys can
a request
bootstrap
from
this
Leyla.
real quick.
I want to know how safe I feel.
Yes, yes.
And I want a system that can tell me this.
Yes.
As soon as I land somewhere, I want to put my gender
Whichever country,
and
whichever nation.
and my
you're in.
race, because if you're not a national, certain countries you don't usually get protected.
So
There's
the
no-
laws do not apply to you.
Apply to you, yeah,
That's interesting fact I've known today.
yeah. So it's the system.
Yes,
If
yes.
I'm constantly ranting on about something, it's not these issues we keep naming. It's, you know, I like I said, for me, language is very important. It's very powerful. Even the word domestic violence. What's so domesticated about violence?
Nothing.
Tell me why? Because and do you know why they did it like this? Again, it's the lawmakers are also a big part of this massive mess. Because if a stranger outside, a male stranger attacks me physically,
Yes.
and I use the UK, right? I grew up in the UK.
Yes.
I don't have to do anything. The police will take him. He'll be prosecuted. Basically, beat me up, blue and black, like literally.
Yeah.
So the law takes him. Great, right? That's a great response. But if he carries the tie to a partner, does the exact same act, beats me up, black and blue, same situation, but because he's my partner,
That's a whole different scenario.
unless I give evidence against him or report to him, he won't be taken by the police. Do you see how these systems are built? So when we're saying domestic violence, there's nothing domesticated. So now, because it's my partner, it's the domesticated version.
And I can tell you, Leyla, most of us are ignorant.
We
Most
all
of
learn
us.
it. I had to learn
We're
this too.
educated, but ignorant about some of these facts. And it's good we're having this conversation.
I'll give you another example.
Yep.
I want people to hear. Honor killing. Have you heard of honor killing?
No.
So honor killing is very big amongst the Asian and the Middle Eastern communities. Even in Africa,
Yeah.
there's something called honor killing. It's when a girl, the family, she goes against something of the family, or she marries the wrong guy, or she's seen. But when I say honor killing certain families, it's just her going to the cinema. It's like, and they kill her. It's for the honor of the family. She's actually killed. So in the UK, we really challenge this language. Because she's from an Asian family or African or Middle Eastern, all of a sudden, it was honorable. That's the way the legal system was
What is
presented.
honorable about killing
It's
someone?
murder. But when a white girl got killed, it was murder. First degree. But the honor killing, they will get less sentence because, it's his culture to want to strangle his own child
Yes.
in his bath. I mean, there was a famous case that I was brought into in the UK. It was called the Banaz Mahmood case.
Yes.
Because they found out during the autopsy,
Yes.
she was Kurdish.
Yes.
They found out she had FGM, so they needed to bring experts to this. This guy, she only had a boyfriend. I think she was Kurdish. He was Turkish, literally right next door. And her father did not just kill her, he cut her into pieces and put her in a suitcase. He was convicted under the honor killing.
And what do you get from honor killing
Because
conviction?
you get lesser sentence.
Like 6 months of community work or?
No. I mean, usually with murder, you might get like 15 years, 20 years. He must have gone like 10 years. And with good behavior, he could have left. I think he might have been out of prison. I don't know by now.
And
But what I'm saying is but you see the justice we give to girls of color. When they get harmed, we call it child marriage, FGM, which is a cultural practice.
Yes.
It's honor killing.
Yes.
Oh my God, give us what we deserve. Like
Yes.
give us the justice we deserve. And sometimes it's just calling it for what it don't Don't say. I mean, FGM, the actual term is serious sexual assault.
Yes.
Touching a child's genitalia, it's sexual assault. You couldn't touch a child's genitalia right now. You'd be arrested. Why? Just because they call it circumcised, all of a sudden that's changed. So for me, you have to, if we're going to challenge systems,
Yes.
we have to challenge the language.
Yes.
It comes hand in hand.
Ah.
Because once you get the language right, see now, next time someone says to you domestic violence, you're going to say, what's so domesticated about this? Where's the law? So I would like to know how Kenya treats domestic violence cases. Because it's to protect the men again.
What about gender violence?
But gender-based violence is all of them. Gender violence means you've been violated because you were born from that gender. I always say, I remember saying years ago in a conference, I said, oh my God, I've been convicted just because I was born female. I was convicted with a lot of violence, whether it's emotional abuse, sexual harassment whenever you're going somewhere. Like literally, women are never feeling safe. Like you're always worried, am I going to be attacked?
Yes.
In the room?
And it's
Am I
interesting,
always that
Leyla.
fear? There's that constant fear you're carrying around.
Yes, it's interesting that I've had this discussion offline with different people. And if you pay a keen eye, nowadays there's even men who are violated.
Absolutely.
A lot.
Oh, yes.
A lot. And for me, I know girl child has been going through a lot for a long, especially African girl child, for a long time. And addressing that is really, really important.
100%.
But if we are not careful, and this is my feeling, we're going to address the girl child issues, all of them. And guess what? Down the line, we need to address the boy child issues. What is your take on that?
Oh, no, let me explain what I mean.
Yeah.
So when I design a girl-child program,
Yes.
all children are involved, including boys. Because there's no point of just making her powerful and safe because if you don't keep him safe, he has to be part of her journey.
Yes.
What I mean is, let's not forget the girls at the fore. Like, she's the one who's at risk right now.
Yes.
But to make sure she's safe, 100% safe, you have to work with everybody
All
around
the
her.
stakeholders.
Oh, everybody.
Yes.
Because usually what happens in these programs is the other way around.
Yes, yes.
Well, what I'm saying is, let's keep because she's the most vulnerable. Let's keep her here.
Yeah.
But we need to work with her dad,
Yes.
brother, her uncle, her teacher who's also a male, the community leader. So it has to be done like that. But let's not forget that she's at the front. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
The way I'm designing this is the girl has to be at the front because she's not safe. That's just the world she lives in.
Yeah.
But in order for her to be 100% safe, we have to work with the men.
And that's
boys.
quite smart because if you,
You
don't
can't do it
involve all the
otherwise.
stakeholders, again, you save the same problem.
No, for
Yeah,
me, it's
yeah.
the way these programs are designed that are dangerous sometimes. Then you're constantly putting the power back to those that already had the power. What I'm saying is, let's just reshift the power. Let's just share the power equally. Not one person should take the power.
So that we can give the
Share
other.
the power equally. That's the way we design our programs. It has to be. And actually, let's all circle this girl. Actually, one of the girls who, in Kenya, we recently launched a survivors-led training where we work with survivors who are running organizations. We're giving them, how do you run your organization? How do you deal with the media? We give them a basic counseling course, like how do you deal with emotional impact? How do you run an organization in a healthy way? And recently I met up with some of the girls and one of them said, wow, you know what I'm realizing? We need to really keep making sure, you're right. We need to make sure we work with everybody because she goes, if I get too powerful, they won't be able to cope.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it puts me more at risk.
Yeah.
So even with those who I work with, I'm constantly challenging them. Because the word empowerment is thrown around all the time.
Yes, yes.
Actually, quick story. I have a daughter who's going to be 20 in August.
Yes.
And so when we were designing this program a couple of years ago, so I was putting together the vision. And I'm like, a lot of these jargon words, I don't want this.
Yes.
This has to be real. It has to be authentic and real. I thought I'll talk to my daughter about
And
what it
close
was like.
to you.
So I said, let me talk to her about what it was like for her to be a girl, raised by me. Maybe something will come up from that conversation. And I said, what was it like that you had a mother who empowered you? She went, oh, I didn't know you empowered me. I was so offended by this, by the way. I was like, excuse me, after everything I did for you? Do you see what we do to our kids?
Yeah.
And then she said, but Mom, I thought I was already born with power. I didn't know you gave it to me. I thought you maintained my power for me. You created a safe space to make sure I
platform.
exercise
Yes.
my power.
Yes.
So she said to me, if you empower me, it means you can take it from me. If you give it to me, then you have the power to take it
back.
away.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a lesson that was for me. And that is always in the back of my mind when I'm doing this work. I'm like, no, we're not empowering girls. Let's make sure they exercise the power they have. They already have power. Girls are born with power. And I remind that to every girl. I go, no, you're not powerless. You have power. You were born with power, except people around you are trying to take it away from you by not giving you the right job.
Yes.
By blocking you from going to the right university.
Yes.
By being given away to a 65. That's how we control girls' power. Girls are born with power. They have it.
Yes.
We just need to make sure we create spaces. And I guess coming back to the world of tech.
Yes.
The tech world is still dominated by men. So I think this is why we have to work together, right? Men and women.
Yes.
Men have the duty to create a safe space for the women in the tech space. Because when you speak to a lot of women, they're scared to come to the tech space. This is very dominant. Imagine if she's abused by her dad, beaten by her brother, then raped at some point, harassed at university. How is she going to come to this space?
And this happens to all the girls.
Most women, this is a very common story. So why would she come to a male-dominated space? She's going to go and become a nurse or a teacher where there's a lot of women. There's a genuine fear. So the tech space really has a role. And I'll challenge AT community to really think about, how do we start creating a safe space for women to come? What do we need to do? Do we need to create hackathons just for women, run by women? Do we need to start creating solidarity spaces where we can talk to women in our own company, where we can say, hey, actually, guys, tell us your experience. We don't even know. Because I'm sure, I'm challenging you after our conversation today.
Yes, yes.
Pay more attention to the women who work in this company and just ask, hey,
why?
What's your experience
Yeah.
in working in a space which is just full of men all the time? And you'll be surprised. That itself is you creating a safe space.
Yes.
To even share that fear. Because the
Absolutely.
moment you release that fear,
Yeah.
it's no longer there. But we're walking around with fear
Yeah.
all the time. A lot of the women I've spoken to in tech would say to me, their aim when they go to work is not to be sexually harassed. Imagine, you don't have to think about that when you go to work. You don't think about that.
Well, nowadays, sometimes.
I'm pointing at the camera guy too. Do you think about being sexually harassed when you come to work? Is that the back of your mind when you leave? You go, oh my God, I'm going to be harassed today. I really just want to get my tasks done.
Yes.
But that's
I hear
women's
you.
experience.
Yes.
So it's really important that we address a safe space to bring that up. Yeah.
And now, this actually, sometime for someone out there, maybe who is single, who has not really had a close partner, the closest they have gotten to is their sister. And that's a different relation, right? And maybe they're looking for someone. Where do you draw the line between, presenting your manifesto to be either a boyfriend or marry someone?
Say manifesto. I love that. I think we should.
And
but I think we shouldn't joke about that. I think
it's not a joke,
it's
because
not a joke,
a young guy out there is confused, especially with the current situation right now.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid maybe they have seen a beautiful girl
They don't know
and
how to
they
talk
have
to her.
clear intentions.
Yep. But they don't know how to approach it.
Because they are also afraid, like, this lady might report them to the HR and say,
Yeah.
I'm sexually harassed. How do we address such, issues? Because you don't talk so much about that.
So let me take you back to a system again.
Yes.
Our schools have failed us big time. Like when we leave school, I mean, I left school, when I was school, I knew about algebra, knew about IT, but the most basic things I needed in life, I didn't know. No one taught me. No one
Yes.
taught me about relationships
Yes.
and managing money. Like those are key skills.
Absolutely.
And well-being.
Yes.
Those three things, no one spoke to me about. So all of us were failed. So it's not just men, even women. Actually,
Yeah.
working with these girls, and the way we work with girls, we say, what do you need? And actually, one of them said, do you know what we need? She goes, we need like a manual for boys and girls where we learn about healthy relationships and sex.
Yes.
She goes, I'm in a university campus and everybody's lost. Everybody's harming everybody. The women are harming the men are harming the women, because we just don't know even the vocab. Like, she goes, we might even need the script sometimes.
Yes.
Just to help us. How do I ask that question? Because you can become someone's friend at
Yes.
first and be attracted to them afterwards.
Yes.
But you're right. Maybe, but these are actually, it's like how you learn how to do this, right? This podcast. You don't read instructions.
I'm still learning.
And you're still learning.
Yes.
And relationships are like that.
Yes.
We just don't have recently. So I've got my best friend Two of my very good friends got married a year ago. They're about to have a baby. So I'm the godmom.
Yes.
I wanted to get this baby like really good books about relationships and sex. And like just, these are how relationships and sex are very real things that happen every day.
Yes.
And there was nothing targeting black children. I was horrified. I was like, oh my God, here we go again. So maybe it's time for us to start producing. So we need to maybe find.
Let me give this a little bit context because I've seen this arise.
And I'm talking about books for children, by the way.
Yes.
There's a great book for African women now that recently came out called Sex Lives of African Women.
Say that again.
Sex Lives of African Women. It's the first guide for African women to read.
Is it accessible everywhere?
Oh, you can buy it in most shops here in Nairobi. She actually came.
Nice.
She's a really good friend. She came and did a whole play. Like, so one of the, she's a theatre producer here who runs her own podcast as well here, actually.
That's
called The
interesting.
Spread.
Yeah.
It's called The Spread. And they did a play where they demonstrated 6 African women's relationships.
Yes.
Amazing. We never had that before. So we need to start creating these spaces. So going back to your question, how do you approach it? Sometimes a lot of us still are learning because we never had a guide. Well, I'm actually,
And it's a taboo to talk to your children about sex and relationships.
again,
Watching.
challenging the tech community. How do we start creating those systems where a guy can go,
Well,
okay,
there was Tinder, and there is that documentary on Netflix about the Tinder swindler.
oh Lord, oh my gosh.
There was when I was young and looking, there was To Go. It was made by South Africans. And then after that, there have been a couple of, but they're
that's
not
what
African
not to do.
made.
That's what not to do in a relationship.
Yeah.
But that was also interesting.
Yes.
The is it Tinder swindler?
Yes.
Again, this is where race is very important.
Yes.
Those women
Yes.
would never have gone to that point if that guy was black.
Mm.
Oh, you should have seen Black Twitter when that documentary came out. They were like, oh my God, they would, because they were just sending money because he was a white man who would. But if that was a black man on a jet, they would not have done it twice.
Never have okay.
Do you see where we have to address these things?
I see.
We're dealing with
And by the way, this is interesting and fascinating at the same time because when I used to go, I don't know if it's still there, the relationship were quite authentic. I could meet authentic people. When I checked out Tinder out of curiosity and to understand the tech out there, there was so much of ratchetness.
Hey, oh God.
So much of it. And even when I saw that documentary, I was not surprised. I say this is designed from the white perspective of relationships.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, I think online dating has been very important to the world, the world that we're living in.
Yes.
But again, we don't have black-friendly
Dating apps.
Dating apps. Actually, another statistics I looked at years ago.
Yeah.
The people who are not approached in dating apps are black men. They're the least.
There's some truth in that.
They're the least, because black women are seen as exotic animals.
Oh.
So white men want to date black women just because they fetishize you.
Oh.
So the only reason we beat black men is out of just fetishness. That's it. But actually, black men are not approached in online dating. They're the lowest. They score the lowest in terms of being approached or even someone tried to add them.
Or anything serious, because even from fetish approach is not that serious.
Yeah.